I discovered when I bought my records at Corvette's. Fashion at the other Corvette.
There's a brand new store in town. It's called Zare.
Holiday shopping is easier at Ames.
From their booming rise in the 1950s to their decline by the 1990s, big box retailers once defined American shopping. They promised everything under one roof: low prices, endless aisles, and weekend family trips. Yet, many of these retail powerhouses collapsed under poor management, fierce competition, and changing consumer habits. Today, their names are little more than echoes of a bygone era, reminding us how quickly retail empires can crumble when they fail to adapt. So, join us as we explore 25 forgotten big box retailers that failed miserably.
W.T. Grant and Grant City's out-of-business sale. By order of the U.S. District Court, 251 stores from coast to coast are forced to close.
In the mid-20th century, W.T. Grant stores, branded as Grant City in larger formats, were among the biggest discount department chains in the United States. At its peak, the company operated more than 1,200 stores nationwide, offering clothing, home goods, appliances, and toys. Grant's aggressive expansion, however, outpaced its sales. Poor credit policies, granting easy in-house credit to virtually anyone, left the chain drowning in bad debt. By 1976, the company filed one of the largest retail bankruptcies in U.S. history, wiping out jobs and shuttering hundreds of stores. The collapse of W.T. Grant became a cautionary tale in retail circles, showing how unchecked growth and unsustainable business practices could quickly bring down even a seemingly invincible big box empire. The downfall of W.T. Grant showed how reckless credit policies could cripple a retailer. But what happens when a company fails not from debt alone, but also from ignoring changing shopping trends, as in the case of E.J. Corvette?
I discovered when I bought my records at Corvette's. Fashion at the other Corvette. And at Corvette's, low prices, too. That's where I found new spring prints. The other Corvette?
Unlike most retailers of its time, E.J. Corvette built its reputation as a disruptive discount department store chain in the 1950s. Its founder, Eugene Furkoff, challenged fair trade laws by selling televisions, appliances, and apparel at prices significantly below competitors. At its peak, Corvette operated about 50 stores in major metropolitan areas, especially the Northeast. Yet, the chain failed to modernize as suburban malls rose in popularity, and competition from stronger rivals like Kmart and Sears eroded its base. Mismanagement, scattered product selection, and declining customer appeal compounded its struggles. By 1980, Corvette filed for bankruptcy and disappeared entirely. Once hailed as a retail innovator, its downfall illustrated the dangers of neglecting evolving consumer tastes and long-term retail strategy.
Celebrate Two Guys' week-long 4th of July sale with fabulous bargains in every department. Save on this 10-inch portable grill. Two Guys priced at just $5.22.
Few discount chains were as ambitious as Two Guys, a New Jersey-based retailer that grew rapidly after World War II. Originally started as an appliance store by two brothers, it expanded into a wide-ranging department store model, selling everything from groceries and clothing to electronics and housewares. The chain's low-price reputation won it millions of loyal shoppers across the East Coast. However, its scattered expansion into unrelated ventures, like gas stations and even bowling alleys, diluted its focus. By the 1970s, financial troubles mounted as competitors refined their operations. The parent company sold off most of the stores to regional retailers, and by 1982, Two Guys had vanished. Its meteoric rise and sudden collapse became a textbook retail implosion.
Save $50 on this portable RCA 18-inch color TV, now only $249. For super buy-up prices on TVs, it's White Front.
White Front's giant bullseye-shaped store entrances were once a familiar sight to shoppers in California and the western United States. Founded in the 1920s but booming in the 1960s, White Front specialized in deeply discounted appliances, furniture, and clothing. The stores were cavernous and promised everything under one roof, a precursor to modern warehouse-style shopping. Yet, when parent company Interstate Department Stores tried expanding Whitefront into new markets like Seattle and Chicago, the results were disastrous. Poor site choices, thin profit margins, and fierce competition made survival impossible. By the late 70s, the last locations closed. Though short-lived outside California, Whitefront left behind an imprint on discount retailing, showing both the appeal of oversized stores and the risks of overexpansion. Whitefront's rise and crash demonstrated the risk of geographic overreach. But what happens when poor ownership and mismanagement ruin even a pioneering concept, as seen in the influential yet short-lived history of FedMart?
Price leadership is Dollar Days at FedMart. Save on hundreds of things for your family and home, like high-dry 2-ply paper towels, 2 for $1.
When Saul Price founded FedMart in San Diego in 1954, he revolutionized the way Americans shopped. The stores targeted government employees and military families, offering discounted groceries, electronics, and household goods. FedMart pioneered concepts like membership-based shopping and bulk discounts, ideas that later inspired Price's creation of Costco. At its height, the chain operated more than 45 locations across the Southwest. However, after being sold to a German retail group in the 1970s, poor management decisions eroded profitability. The focus shifted away from its core discount model, alienating loyal shoppers. By 1982, FedMart was shuttered entirely. Though gone, its influence on the warehouse club model lives on, making it one of the retail history's most influential failures. Arlen's, once a familiar name in American discount retail, began in the 1940s as a small chain in Massachusetts. It grew aggressively through the 1950s and 1960s, opening more than 100 stores across the Midwest, South, and Northeast. The company's strategy was rapid expansion into suburban shopping centers, catering to families seeking affordable clothing, appliances, and home goods. But Arlen's overextended itself, opening stores in weaker markets that drained resources. By the early 1970s, the company was drowning in debt, unable to compete with emerging rivals like Kmart and Woolco. Between 1973 and 1975, Arlen's liquidated completely. Its story reflects how overexpansion without careful market analysis can quickly destroy a retailer, no matter how popular it once appeared.
There's a brand new store in town. It's called Zare.
Take another look, take another look, take another look at Zare. Take another look, take another look, look at all the fashion Zare.
Shoppers in the 1960s and 1970s often flocked to Zare, a discount department store chain known for low-cost apparel, electronics, and household goods. Founded in 1956, the chain expanded to over 400 locations across the United States, carving out a strong position in the Northeast. Zare's bright, bustling stores became weekend shopping staples. However, the 1980s brought financial turmoil as competition from Target, Walmart, and regional players intensified. In 1988, Zare sold its discount stores to Ames, effectively ending the brand by 1990. Interestingly, the company's corporate parent survived by pivoting into specialty retail, eventually spawning TJ Maxx and Marshalls under the TJX umbrella. Thus, while the Zare name vanished, its legacy indirectly shaped today's discount retail landscape. Zare disappeared into the hands of Ames, which seemed poised for survival. But how did Ames, after absorbing multiple rivals, collapse under its own weight, ultimately liquidating in 2002 and leaving small towns without a retail anchor?
Holiday shopping is easier at Ames.
It's perfect.
Not only because of the great prices you'll find on name brands.
For decades, Ames was a powerhouse in discount retail across the Northeast and Midwest. Founded in Massachusetts in 1958, the chain grew rapidly, operating more than 700 stores at its peak. Ames was particularly known for serving smaller towns overlooked by Walmart and Target, offering everything from clothing to housewares at budget prices. Yet, its ambitious acquisitions of failing competitors, such as Zare in 1988 and Hills department stores in the 1990s, overloaded it with debt and underperforming locations. Struggling with thin margins, changing consumer preferences, and the rise of superstores, Ames filed for bankruptcy twice before liquidating completely in 2002. Its disappearance left many small communities without a local discount retailer, marking the end of a once dominant regional chain.
Endless source of value for everything that's new. We're everything you're looking for. We're your Caldor.
Among the most recognizable discount department stores in the Northeast, Caldor built a loyal following after its founding in 1951 in Connecticut. The chain differentiated itself by offering stylish apparel and quality housewares at lower prices, often appealing to middle-class suburban families. At its height, Caldor operated nearly 150 stores across several states. However, the 1990s proved disastrous as Walmart and Target aggressively moved into Caldor's core markets. Burdened by debt and unable to modernize its stores or supply chain, Caldor declared bankruptcy in 1995 but attempted to reorganize. By 1999, the company gave up the fight, closing all stores by 2001. Once a regional favorite, Caldor became another casualty of the discount wars in American retail.
In beautiful new Bradleys around Washington. What a capital idea.
Bradley's the department store with a difference.
Different? Could you explain that? I certainly could, but just take a look.
The name Bradley's was once synonymous with discount shopping in the Northeast. Launched in 1958 in Massachusetts, the chain became known for its affordable clothing, housewares, and seasonal goods. Backed by supermarket giant Stop & Shop for many years, Bradley's thrived in suburban strip malls, eventually expanding to over 350 stores. Yet by the 1990s, the retail landscape was shifting. Walmart and Target were modernizing with larger, sleeker stores, while Bradley's lagged behind in design and supply chain efficiency. The company filed for bankruptcy in 1995, briefly re-emerged, but was overwhelmed by mounting losses. In 2001, the entire chain liquidated. For many shoppers in New England, the closure felt like the end of a familiar neighborhood tradition. Bradley's collapse emphasized the brutal competition of the 1990s. But how did Venture stores, positioned as a stylish alternative in the Midwest, lose its footing and close just before the century ended?
All you need for back to school is on sale now at Venture. Pack a backpack, $4.99. Scoop up M&M's Big 2-pound bag, $3.29.
Born out of a partnership with May Department Stores, Venture stores targeted middle-class families with a clean department store feel at discount prices. The chain became especially strong in the Midwest, operating more than 70 locations in states like Illinois, Missouri, and Kansas. With its signature slogan, "Save at Venture, save with style," the retailer positioned itself as a fashionable alternative to Kmart. However, competition grew fierce during the 1990s, particularly as Walmart and Target upgraded their formats. Venture lacked the capital to modernize, and its stores began to look outdated. By 1998, the company had declared bankruptcy and was liquidated in 1999. Today, its failure is often remembered as part of the sweeping discount store shakeout of the late 20th century.
Different. Hills. One of the biggest selections of outerwear anywhere. For men. For ladies. Kids, too.
In smaller towns across the Northeast and Midwest, Hills department stores were once a staple for affordable shopping. Founded in 1957 in Youngstown, Ohio, the chain thrived by focusing on apparel, toys, and housewares in underserved communities. Shoppers especially loved Hills for its large toy departments, which became a holiday destination. By the 1980s, the chain expanded to nearly 200 locations. But debt-heavy ownership changes and increasing competition eroded its stability. In 1999, Hills was acquired by Ames, another struggling discount retailer. Within months, the Hills name disappeared as stores were converted or closed. Sadly, Ames itself collapsed only a few years later, meaning the acquisition accelerated Hills' disappearance and contributed to the broader decline of regional discount chains.
Starting Friday at 7 a.m., it's Jamesway's 3-day holiday sale.
Jamesway was one of those regional retailers that became an integral part of small-town life in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Founded in 1961 in Jamestown, New York, the chain expanded to more than 100 stores across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and surrounding states. Jamesway specialized in low-cost apparel, household items, and seasonal products, offering budget-conscious families a reliable shopping destination. But by the 1980s and 1990s, the company faced increasing pressure from stronger competitors like Walmart, Kmart, and Target. Its stores often felt dated, and its product mix lacked the innovation to keep customers loyal. Burdened with debt, Jamesway filed for bankruptcy in 1993 and was liquidated entirely by 1995. Its absence left many rural communities without a major local retailer.
You'll find all the quality and value you need for your home and family in one place, your nearby Clover store. Oh Baby high-quality bunting by Gaetano.
Few shoppers outside Pennsylvania and New Jersey remember Clover, but in its prime, it was a regional favorite. Established in 1971 as a subsidiary of Strawbridge and Clothier, Clover offered discount versions of department store merchandise, appealing to middle-class families with affordable clothing, housewares, and seasonal goods. The chain operated about 26 stores and was known for clean layouts and reliable service. However, Clover never gained the scale needed to compete with rising national giants like Walmart and Target. When Strawbridge and Clothier was sold in the mid-1990s, Clover's fate was sealed. By 1996, the entire chain closed. Its stores sold to competitors. Clover's disappearance showed how smaller regional players struggled to survive in a rapidly consolidating retail market. Clover's disappearance showed how even department store subsidiaries couldn't survive the discount wars. But what about Richway, a colorful southern chain that found itself converted into Target stores, losing its name forever?
Great new sweaters and jeans? Find them for one incredible low price this week at Richway. Look around. Great fitting jeans, good looking trim, fantastic low price.
Richway began in 1969 as the discount arm of Atlanta-based Rich's department store, quickly expanding across the Southeast with colorful, family-friendly stores. Known for bright signage, attractive layouts, and trendy yet affordable merchandise, Richway became a destination for suburban shoppers in Georgia, Florida, and surrounding states. By the 1980s, the chain had over 30 locations. However, retail consolidation struck hard. In 1988, Richway was sold to Dayton Hudson Corporation, parent of Target. Instead of preserving the brand, Dayton Hudson rebranded Richway stores under the Target banner. Though it meant survival in name, the Richway identity vanished. Many customers fondly remembered its regional charm, but ultimately, Richway was swallowed by a stronger national competitor during retail's rapid evolution.
An important message to Gemco members. Gemco, the membership store that's committed to giving its members the lowest prices, has lowered prices even further.
California-based Gemco was a membership-based discount chain that thrived in the 1960s and 1970s. Founded by Lucky Stores in 1959, Gemco offered groceries, clothing, appliances, and home goods under one roof, serving as an early hybrid between supermarkets and discount department stores. Membership cards created a sense of exclusivity, but the stores remained highly affordable. Gemco reached about 80 locations, mostly on the West Coast, and became popular for its wide selection and convenience. However, competitors like Target and Walmart soon outpaced it in efficiency and appeal. In 1986, Lucky Stores sold and shuttered the chain, converting many locations into Targets. While Gemco disappeared, it influenced the rise of warehouse-style shopping models that remain dominant in American retail today.
We have gone out of our way to make everyone say every...
Now at the Treasury, fresh-cut Christmas trees. Select from a wide assortment of northern-cut trees at prices you won't believe.
Introduced by J.C. Penney in 1961, the Treasury was an ambitious attempt to capture the booming discount market. Its large-format stores combined clothing, appliances, and even garden centers, mimicking department stores but at lower prices. Locations spread through California, Colorado, and Florida, reaching nearly 35 stores at the peak. Despite its size and variety, the Treasury struggled with profitability. Operating costs were high, and JCPenney never fully committed to the discount model, leaving the stores underdeveloped compared to rising competitors like Kmart and Walmart. By 1981, the entire chain was shut down, with many sites later repurposed by other retailers. The Treasury's short-lived existence underscored how even major department store giants often faltered in discount retail experiments.
Anthony's has super fall savings that'll keep you warm all winter long. 25% off the entire stock of women's and juniors' coats and jackets.
Back in the 1960s, Turnstile was seen as a promising competitor in the growing discount store field. Operated by Jewel Companies of Chicago, the chain offered a mix of apparel, housewares, and general merchandise, often paired with Jewel grocery stores for a one-stop shopping experience. Expansion stretched into New England and the Midwest, and at its peak, Turnstile ran nearly 50 locations. But by the late 1970s, Jewel decided to abandon the experiment, selling or closing all outlets by 1978. Many were acquired by Venture and other discounters. Although Turnstile was relatively short-lived, it was part of the wave of second-generation discount retailers that showed both the potential and pitfalls of rapid expansion.
Jefferson Ward's pre-Easter sale starts this Sunday with a parade of savings in every department. Start your fashion collection with Mrs. and Junior's dresses, knits, and wovens in spring pastel colors, only $18.99 each.
When Montgomery Ward sought to reinvent itself in the discount age, it created Jefferson Ward in the 1970s. The new chain targeted suburban shoppers with mid-sized discount stores carrying clothing, appliances, and general merchandise. Jefferson Ward reached about 40 locations in the Mid-Atlantic and Florida, but the venture quickly fell behind. Stores were often poorly located, and Montgomery Ward struggled to differentiate them from established discounters like Kmart and Zayre. By the mid-1980s, most Jefferson Ward stores were sold to Bradley's or closed outright, marking the end of the experiment. The brief lifespan of Jefferson Ward highlighted how traditional department store chains often faltered when trying to mimic the leaner, more efficient discount store model that defined the era. Jefferson Ward proved department store experiments often faltered in discount retail. But how did Woolco, a nationwide chain under Woolworth, implode in the United States despite operating hundreds of stores across the country?
Christmas value. This year I want a tree that doesn't shed.
And here's the very tree. This magnificent 6.5-foot Noma Algonquin Yukon artificial tree, just $74.76.
Woolco was introduced in 1962 as the discount store arm of F.W. Woolworth, one of the most famous names in American retail. Designed to compete with Kmart, Woolco offered sprawling stores that sold apparel, electronics, and household goods at budget prices. At its peak, Woolco had more than 300 locations across the United States, often situated in suburban shopping centers. But the chain struggled with inconsistent quality, thin profit margins, and operational inefficiencies. As Walmart and Target grew stronger, Woolco could not keep pace. By 1983, Woolworths shuttered all U.S. Woolco stores, though the brand survived for a time in Canada. The failure of Woolco marked a turning point, signaling Woolworth's decline and the dominance of new discount leaders.
Tim Jacobson, I'm a store manager here at Niles 93. I've been with the company almost 14 years, and I've worked in 6 different stores.
Few retailers were as visually distinctive as Best Products, famous for its catalog showroom stores with experimental architectural designs. Founded in 1957 in Virginia, Best allowed customers to browse catalogs in-store, then pick up merchandise ranging from jewelry to electronics at the counter. The format thrived during the 1970s, with more than 200 locations nationwide. However, as big-box retailers like Walmart and Circuit City expanded, Best's model of showroom shopping lost relevance. Burdened by debt and a shrinking customer base, the company filed for bankruptcy twice during the 1990s. In 1997, Best Products liquidated completely. Its quirky buildings remain cultural landmarks, but its business model stands as an example of how consumer habits can outgrow once innovative ideas. Mammoth Mart, originally called Mammoth Mills, opened its first store in 1956 in Framingham, Massachusetts. It quickly grew throughout New England during the 1960s, establishing itself as one of the earliest discount department store chains in the region. Known for offering low-cost clothing, housewares, and general merchandise, Mammoth Mart appealed to budget-conscious families at a time when suburban shopping was booming. Despite its initial success, the company faced growing competition from national discounters like Kmart and Zayre, while overexpansion and financial missteps weakened its stability. By the mid-1970s, Mammoth Mart filed for bankruptcy, and most of its stores were eventually sold or rebranded under competitors such as King's Department Stores, signaling the end of the chain.
Saturday, starting at 9 a.m., just about everything under the sun is on sale at Lechmere. All TVs and VCRs, every major appliance.
Shoppers in New England once knew Lechmere as a household name for appliances, electronics, and home goods. Founded in 1913 in Cambridge, Massachusetts, the company grew from a small harness shop into a large discount retailer. By the 1980s, it operated over 30 stores across the Northeast, offering a blend of competitive prices and wide selections. Lechmere was acquired by Dayton Hudson Corporation, later Target, but mismanagement and growing competition weakened the chain. Best Buy and Circuit City aggressively undercut Lechmere in electronics, while Walmart and Target outperformed it in general merchandise. In 1997, Dayton Hudson shut down the entire chain. Lechmere's departure marked the loss of a uniquely regional player that had long been a New England shopping staple.
This week only at Silo's Midwinter Sale, interpreting through motion their joy at saving on audio, video, and major home appliances, expressing through rhythm their total customer satisfaction at the big brand name discounts.
Eventually, "You'll own Silo" was the cheeky advertising slogan that helped the electronics chain gain national recognition in the 1980s. Founded in 1946 in Philadelphia, Silo became one of America's first dedicated electronics big box retailers. It sold televisions, stereos, appliances, and later personal computers, expanding to more than 200 locations nationwide. Despite early success, Silo faltered under multiple ownership changes, including acquisition by corporate giant Dixons. Mismanagement, combined with the fierce competition from Circuit City and Best Buy, eroded its market share. Stores became outdated, and pricing strategies failed to keep up with faster, leaner rivals. By 1995, Silo had liquidated completely, leaving behind a legacy as both a pioneer in electronics retailing and a victim of rapid industry evolution.
The holiday season can be busy, but there is an answer. It's Gold Circle, with amazing around-the-clock hours, now through Christmas Eve. Shop now and save 20, 30, 40%.
Gold Circle was launched in 1967 as the discount division of Federated Department Stores, created to compete with the rapidly growing big box retailers of the era. Based in Ohio, Gold Circle offered a wide range of products, including clothing, electronics, home goods, and seasonal items at lower prices than traditional department stores. Its stores were designed with wide aisles and open layouts to encourage bulk shopping, making it a popular choice for middle-class families throughout the 1970s and early 1980s. However, the chain struggled to maintain profitability in the face of fierce competition from Kmart, Target, and Walmart. By 1988, Federated dismantled and liquidated Gold Circle, selling many locations to other retailers and marking its end.